Hello and welcome to session 47 of Direct Tax 2, 4th semester BCom of Mangalore University. Now in this session, we are going to solve a comprehensive problem on income from other sources. So let's look at the problem. Mr. Abdullah Farooq furnishes the following particulars of his income for the previous year 1920. Compute his income from other sources for the assessment year 2021. So we have quite a few items. Interest on post office savings bank account 4,000, interest on savings bank account in a commercial bank 1,800, winnings from Karnataka State Lottery gross amount 20,000, director's sitting fees received 1,000, dividend on equity shares of Indian company 3,000, dividend on preference shares of a domestic company 5,000, income from letting on hire of building, machinery and furniture under one composite lease 30,000, interest on fixed deposit in SBI 6,000, ground rent 3,000, winnings received from horse races, that is net amount given 7,000, rent of a plot of land at Agra not appurtenant to building 4,000, income from agriculture in Punjab 20,000, income from agriculture in Nepal 15,000, interest on debentures of a cooperative society 1,500, interest received on German government development bonds, that's given net amount 5,000, income from undisclosed sources 8,000, interest on debentures of Himalaya Tea Company Limited listed 3,600, interest on tax-free debentures of a cotton mill company 1,800, dividend from a cooperative society 1,000, interest on Karnataka government bonds 3,000, interest on Bombay Port Trust bond 3,600, dividend from foreign companies net 6,000, interest on tax-free government of India bonds 5,000, family pension 60,000, gift received from a friend on marriage 60,000. He also held the following investments: 18,000 10% tax-free UP government bonds purchased on 1st of September 2019, 20,000 12% debentures of Tata Steel Limited purchased on 1st of January 2020, 25,000 9% debentures of Agra Sugar Works Limited unlisted, 18,000 12% tax-free debentures of ACC Limited listed. Interest on all securities is payable annually on 31st of December each year. So interest is received once in a year, not like half yearly as in the earlier problem. So here in this problem, interest is received once in a year. The following deductions are claimed by him: collection charges of dividend from Indian companies, allowable depreciation on building and machinery, fire insurance on building and machinery. Then we have interest on loan taken for purchase of Government of India bonds, interest on loan taken to purchase debentures of ACC Limited, expenses for purchasing lottery tickets. So these are the related expenses given, the deductions that he is claiming. So we need to calculate his taxable income from other sources for the assessment year 2021. So I record over here solution. I write computation of taxable income from other sources. Taxable income from other sources. That is for the previous year 1920. So what we will do is we will prepare two amount columns. And since this is a huge problem, so what we will do is I will draw the amount column on the other side also. So we'll prepare two amount columns. I will draw the format here as well so that there is continuity when we solve the problem. So two amount columns will be required in case if there is any internal deduction. Okay, so format is ready, so we can now solve the problem. So I record over here, first one as given, interest on post office savings bank account. We have seen in the earlier session also, interest on post office savings bank account, individual account, there is an exemption of up to rupees 3,500. So you can claim an exemption up to 3,500. So taxable interest from post office savings bank account is only rupees 500. Next we have interest on savings bank account of a commercial bank. SB account of commercial bank. Commercial bank. This is fully taxable. So I record 1,800 in the amount column. Next we have winnings from Karnataka State Lottery. Winnings from Karnataka State Lottery. Now it's very clearly given that it's a gross amount. So I record gross, it's already gross, so we don't have to gross it. Amount is 20,000. So I record 20,000 in the amount column. Then the next item that we have is director's sitting fees received. So I record over here director's sitting fees received. Director's sitting fees. And director's sitting fees given is 1,000. So I record 1,000 in the amount column. Then we have dividend on equity shares of Indian company. Now we know for sure dividend from equity shares of an Indian company is exempt. That is for the previous year 1920. Then we have dividend on preference shares of a domestic company. Domestic company you take or Indian company you take, one and the same. Dividend received from an Indian company, whether on equity shares or preference shares, is exempt from tax. Next we have income from letting on hire of building, machinery and furniture. We say one composite lease, so that you cannot separate it for building, you cannot separate for machinery. Since we cannot separate it for building, we cannot take it under house property. That's why it is brought under the head income from other sources, and that amount is 30,000. So 30,000 is the amount. Next we have, next item given is interest on fixed deposit in SBI, fully taxable. Fixed deposit in SBI, State Bank of India. The amount is 6,000. Next we have ground rent. So I record ground rent. Ground rent value is fully taxable. It is 3,000. Then we have winnings from horse races. Winnings from horse races. Now it's given very clearly that it's a net amount of 7,000. We can gross that up into 100 divided by 70, because TDS rate on casual income is always 30%. So the income from winnings from horse race is 10,000. Next we have rent of a plot of land at Agra, and it's given very clearly not appurtenant to building, because it is rent from a land appurtenant to building, that will go to house property income. This is not appurtenant to any building, so it is taxable under the head other sources. Under the head other sources. Next we have income from agriculture in Punjab. Income from agriculture in Punjab. We have already seen this in the earlier semester as well. Income from agriculture in India is exempt from tax. That is under section 10 subsection 1. It is exempt from tax under section 10 subsection 1. Next, income from agriculture in Nepal. Income from agriculture in Nepal is taxable. Amount is 15,000. 15,000. Then you have interest on debentures of a cooperative society. Interest on debentures of a cooperative society is taxable. Amount is 1,500. Next we have interest on German government bonds. German government bonds. It's given net there, but how much is the TDS rate is not given in the problem. So we take this itself as fully taxable, since the TDS rate is not known. Next we have income from undisclosed sources, fully taxable. Income from undisclosed sources is fully taxable. Amount is 8,000. Amount is 8,000. Then we have interest on debentures of Himalaya Tea Company. Now point to note, in this particular problem, interest amount is given 3,600. When interest amount is given, it is always to be grossed up, and the TDS rate is 10%. So if 3,600 is 90%, 10% would be how much? So totally 100% would be how much? So totally gross amount would be 4,000 rupees. Okay. Next we have interest on tax-free debentures of Cotton Mill Company. Interest on tax-free debentures of Cotton Mill Company. Now very clearly over here, interest amount is given. Interest amount is given 1,800. It is tax-free in the hands of the SSC. That means TDS has already been deducted. And once again, TDS is 10%. So the total interest on tax-free debentures, that is the gross amount, would work out to 2,000 rupees. Then we have dividend from cooperative society. Dividend from cooperative society is fully taxable. Is fully taxable. The amount of dividend on cooperative society is 1,000. Next we have interest on Karnataka government bonds. That is also fully taxable. Interest on, I will record that on the other side. Say interest on Karnataka government bonds. Karnataka government bonds. And as far as government bonds are concerned, no tax is deducted at source. So no TDS, so 3,000 in the outer column. Then you have interest on Bombay Port Trust bonds. Interest on Bombay Port Trust bonds. Now interest amount is given. Interest amount is given, so TDS definitely has been deducted. TDS has been deducted. So we have 3,600 into 100 divided by 90. So this amount would be 4,000. That is the gross amount of interest on Bombay Port Trust bonds would be 4,000. Then we have dividend from foreign companies. Dividend from foreign companies is taxable, fully taxable. Now there is no mention, it's given as net amount, but there is no mention of tax rate. So entire 6,000 will become taxable. Next we have is interest on tax-free Government of India bonds. Now very clearly given, this is tax-free Government of India bonds. So whenever it's given tax-free government securities, it is totally exempt from tax. It is totally exempt from tax. Make a note of that. Next we have is family pension. Family pension. So family pension amount is given to us, that is 60,000. 60,000. Rule is simple. Either we take 1/3 of the amount received. 1/3 of the amount received will be 60,000 into 1/3. That will be equal to rupees 20,000. or rupees 15,000, whichever is less. So here 20,000 is more, 15,000 is less. That's the maximum amount of deduction from family pension. So I deduct 15, 45,000 will be the taxable family pension amount. Next, gift received from a friend on marriage. Gift received from a friend on marriage. Any amount of gift received on marriage is totally exempt from tax. Gift received from relatives is exempt from tax. So gift received on an occasion other than marriage and gift received from non-relatives is fully taxable if the gift amount exceeds rupees 50,000. Since it is received on marriage, it is fully exempt from tax. Then, he also held the following investments: 18,000 10% tax-free UP government bonds purchased on 1st of September 2019, 20,000 12% debentures of Tata Steel Limited purchased on 1st of January. Point to note, interest on all securities is payable annually on 31st of December each year is given. On 31st of December. So if he has purchased the debentures of Tata Steel Limited on 1st of January, he is not going to receive interest on that. Okay, we'll make a note of that. I record interest on tax-free UP government bonds. UP government bonds. Now state government bonds are taxable. Remember this. So 18,000 is the investment amount. The rate of interest is 10%. And since it is purchased on 1st of September, interest is received on 31st of December. That is annual interest. So it will be fully taxable. So 1,800 would be the value. Then we have interest on debentures of Tata Steel Limited. Tata Steel Limited. I will record over here the amount is nil because it is purchased on 1st of January, whereas the problem says interest is payable annually on 31st of December each year. So interest will not be received any time from December to March. It will be received only next year. So as far as this year's interest is concerned, nothing is taxable and the amount is nil. Next we have interest on Agra Sugar Works Limited. Agra Sugar Works Limited. The investment amount is given 25,000 and the rate of interest given is 9%. So 9% of 25,000, 10% would be 2,500, 9% would be 2,250. That would be the interest amount. That is 2,500 minus 250. That will be 2,250. Then we have interest on tax-free debentures. Interest on tax-free debentures of ACC Limited. Tax-free debentures of ACC Limited. So, investment amount is 18,000. Rate of interest is 12%. Rate of interest is 12%. It's given tax-free debentures of ACC Limited. So, 10% is 1,800. 1,800 and 360 will be 2,160. 2,160. So 2,160. 1,800, 18 into 2 is 36, 360, 160. Yes, 2,160. Then interest on all securities payable annually on 31st December each year. That's why we did not claim a deduction for Tata Steel Limited, because it was purchased on 1st of January 20. Interest is received on 31st of December annually because he has purchased it next day. So no interest will be received for this year on this particular investment. So that's all we have as far as incomes are concerned. So we'll add up all the income. I get a 0. So it is 6 plus 5 is 11. 11. Okay, it is 11. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 12, 12, 17, 25. 25 plus 5 is 30. 30, that is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 23, 26, 27, 28, 34, 37, 41, 46, 47, 52, 60, 64, 66, 67. So 7 and 6 plus 4 is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So I get 1,77,010. From this 1,77,010 we can claim deductions under section 57. Deductions under section 57. So let's look at the number. Collection charges on dividend of Indian company. Collection charges on dividend of Indian companies. Point to note, Indian companies' dividend are totally exempt from tax. Incomes which are exempt, even expenses are not deductible. So I record nil. Since this income is exempt, expenses are not deductible. Next, allowable depreciation on building and machinery. Yes. Now these are taken as composite income. We have it here. Income from letting on hire of building, machinery, furniture, one composite lease we say. So since the income is taxable, depreciation is allowed as deduction and the amount is 5,000. Next we have fire insurance on building and machinery. So that is also deductible. Insurance on building and machinery. Same composite lease. Since the income is shown here, related expenses can also be claimed as deduction here. So it is 200. Next we have interest on loan taken for purchase of Government of India bonds. Interest on loan for purchase of Government of India bonds. Now let's look at this. Interest received on tax-free Government of India bonds. Here you see it is exempt from tax. Since the income is exempt, related expenses are also not deductible, as we just saw. Dividend from Indian companies is exempt, so expenses, collection charges on dividend is not deductible. Since interest on tax-free Government of India bonds is exempt from tax, interest on loan for the purchase of such Government of India bonds is also not deductible. Then interest on loan taken to purchase debentures of ACC Limited. So record interest on loan for purchase of debentures of ACC Limited. Now we will have to look at this. Interest on tax-free debentures of ACC Limited is taxable. It is shown there, it is taxable. So loan taken, interest paid on loan taken to purchase these debentures can be claimed as deduction. So 2,900 can be claimed as deduction. So interest amount paid on loan will be more than the interest received, doesn't matter, you can claim deduction. Then expenses for purchasing lottery tickets. Expenses for purchasing lottery tickets. Point is very simple. As far as casual incomes are concerned, any expenses incurred to earn casual income is not deductible. We have already seen that. So total amount deductible is 5, 6, 7. 7,900, 8,100. So 8,100 is the number. So you get 0, 1. 10 minus 1 is 9. 16 minus 8 is 8. So 1,68,910. So 168, 176, 177,010, and this will be there for taxable income from other sources. Taxable income from other sources is 1,68,910. So let's understand this problem. Post office savings bank account, exemption 3,500 for an individual account. Then rest of these are all taxable, and it's given lottery prize is gross amount, so we take the entire amount. No grossing up required. Then dividend on equity share of Indian and domestic company, that is preference shares, is exempt from tax. That's why the related expenses over here, collection charge and dividend of Indian companies is not deductible. If this was taxable, this expense would have been deductible. Since this is exempt, nothing is deductible. Then income from letting on hire building machinery furniture, one composite lease is given 30,000. That's why the related expenses, allowable depreciation, fire insurance premium is deductible. Then interest on FD, fixed deposit in SBI, ground rent, winning from horse races, net is given, so we gross it. TDS rate on casual income is always 30%. So into 100 by 100 minus 30, that is 70. So you get the gross amount as 10,000. Then rent of plot of land at Agra is taxable. Agriculture income from India is exempt from tax. Section 10 subsection 1. Agriculture income from Nepal is taxable. Then interest on debentures of cooperative society, interest on German government bonds, net is given, but the TDS rate is not mentioned. So we take the entire amount taxable. Then income from undisclosed sources is taxable. Interest on debentures of Himalaya Tea Company is given. Interest amount is given. So grossing up becomes compulsory, and always TDS rate is 10%. So 3,600 100 by 90 is 4,000. Then you have interest on tax-free debentures of Cotton Mill Company. That is 1,800 rupees. This also interest is given, so we gross it up. 100 by 90, 10% is TDS, you get 2,000. Dividend from cooperative society, fully taxable, no grossing up. No TDS is done. Then interest on Karnataka government bond 3,000. Interest on Bombay Port Trust bonds is given 3,600. Interest is given. Since interest is given, we need to gross it up. Again, TDS rate is 10%. So 100 by 90 would give you 4,000. Dividend from foreign company is taxable. Dividend from Indian company is exempt. Foreign company is taxable. Interest on tax-free Government of India bonds. It's given very clearly. Tax-free Government of India. Tax-free central government securities is exempt from tax. Then your family pension, 60,000 received. There is a rule, 1/3 of the amount can be exempt. 1/3 of 60,000 is 20,000 or rupees 15,000, whichever is less. So max amount is 15. So taxable family pension is 45,000. Gift received from a friend on marriage. On marriage, any amount of gift is exempt from tax. Then we are given with interest on tax-free UP government bonds. Investment amount is given. So we simply calculate interest at the rate given. So 18,000 into 10%, 1,800 is taxable. Full amount of interest. Then you have interest on debentures of Tata Steel Limited. This is purchased on 1st of January 20. Problem says interest is paid annually on 31st of December. So no interest is paid on 1st of January. So nothing is taxable. No interest is received on this for this year. Then interest on Agra Sugar Works Limited is given, and the investment amount is 25,000. Rate of interest is 9%. So interest amount for the year will be 2,250. Then we have given interest on tax-free debentures of ACC Limited. It is tax-free. So 18,000 is the investment amount. Rate of interest given is 12%. So it will be 12 8s are 96, 6, 9. 12 1s are 12 plus 9 is 21. So 2160 is the interest amount. So when you total all these income, you get 1,77,010. Collection charges on dividend of Indian income cannot be claimed as deduction because the related income is exempt. Allowable depreciation on building and machinery, fire insurance on building and machinery is deductible because the amount here is taxable. Then interest on loan taken for purchase of Government of India bonds. Tax-free Government of India bonds exempt, so related expenses are also not deductible. Then interest on loan for purchase of debentures of ACC Limited. Here income is taxable, so interest paid on loan is deductible. Then you have expenses for purchase of lottery ticket. As far as casual income is concerned, lottery ticket, entry fees, whatever is not deductible at all. So when I add up, I get 8,100 rupees deduction under section 57. So when I deduct it from income, I get 1,68,910. So this will become taxable income from other sources. So I hope this comprehensive problem on income from other sources is clear. Thank you.